Hi, I'm Savannah Payne.
And I'm Stephanie Shin.
And we're here with the Technology Student Association.
Today we're here with Jeff Milliner.
So where do you work?
I work for the Mozilla Foundation. We are the nonprofit associated with Firefox, the browser, and I also do a little bit of consulting for our Public Education Foundation.
What type of 3D printing do you do?
I primarily work with people who are interested in learning the basics of 3D printing. Fused deposition modeling, the kinds of ones that I know Baylor has a MakerBot. Extrusion printers, that's what I generally work with.
What type of education is required to work with 3D printers?
I think, honestly, just a willingness to learn about them. I always, 3D printing sounds incredibly complicated. Those extrusion printers work on the same principle as a hot glue gun does. So if you can understand a hot glue gun, we can get you 3D printing.
How did you get involved with 3D printing?
By chance, I started working at our public library a few years ago, and it was just as they were opening up the 4th floor, where there are publicly available 3D printers, and they needed somebody who could teach other people how to use them. So I taught myself, and I taught myself how to fix them and stuff like that, and got involved from there.
Describe a typical day at work using 3D printers.
It's been a little while since I have used them on a daily basis, but in general, when I taught classes, we would talk about the history of 3D printing. We would talk about some of the applications, some of the different types of 3D printers, the kinds of things they're being used for, the kinds of things that people are interested in using them for. And then we would put on one of their projects, if they had one, or something that I was working on, and kind of watch the guts of a 3D printer work. Every once in a while, we'll bring them to an event where we're either teaching teachers how to use them, or working firsthand with younger students. It's useful for teachers to kind of see and get a little experience because there are educators, and they have all kinds of great ideas about how you can use them in the classroom.
What is the most advanced technology used in 3D printing?
I don't know about the most advanced. One of the things that I think is incredibly interesting that people are doing now is associated with 3D printing are the 3D scanners, and how much better and cheaper they're getting. One of the most interesting places that I think 3D printing is being used is in the medical industry, where 3D printing is not great if what you want to make, at least at the moment, is a lot of something. Mass manufacturing still, like traditional methods, are better. But when you need one-offs, individual things like prototypes, it's less expensive. But when you think about the medical industry, everything you make is one, is a one-of-a-kind thing. Everybody's different. So the ability to tie scanning into developing prostheses, into replacing joints and things like that, that scanning technology I think is really interesting at the moment.
If someone came to you and said that they would like to work with 3D printers, what would you tell them?
I'd be really excited. I think it's awesome when people are interested in doing that. I think it gives you a lot of autonomy, that there are lots of things that you're able to do because 3D printing is this kind of accessible way into designing and making something that maybe just applies to you. I would point them towards the 4th floor of our library. If they have a library card, that's a great place to go. They've got people who teach you about it up there now. If they were a teacher, I would point them towards the STEM Hub at the Public Education Foundation. They do all kinds of incredible work around stuff like 3D printing. I think that another great place to start looking at stuff is just there are an amazing number of resources on the internet.
How do you use STEM in your job, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics?
A lot with developers in computer science. I work for a foundation. I work more on the community side of things, but we work with teams that build things in the computer science space, build apps and programs and pieces like that. So being able to speak fluently that language, even if it's not the thing that you do, I think is hugely important. In my work with schools and teachers, it's not my specialty, but being able to talk about the basics and what the importance of some of these STEM skills are, even if what you're interested in is English or humanities. That kind of a broad base, more liberal arts education, I think, is really important. So that's how STEM involves itself in my everyday life.
So that's all the questions that we have today. So thank you for doing this interview with us.
Thank
Oh, you're
you.
so welcome. I hope those were answers that were useful to you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. I hope those were answers that were useful to you.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello. Hello.